Hi, I'm Anthony Rostrand and I lead the Systems and Networking team here at Microsoft Research Cambridge. Over the last 15 years, the Systems and Networking team have worked on a large number of topics, including operating systems, distributed systems, peer-to-peer systems. Most recently, we've been working quite a lot on data centers. Now, these sorts of projects are critical to Microsoft because they're looking at how we can do big data and build data centers which are better. And of course, as we know, data centers underpin so much of what Microsoft does today through the cloud and through Bing. So in the Predictable Data Center project, we're trying to make the data center more predictable, and in particular the networking and the storage aspects of the data center much more predictable.
So over the past couple of years, my colleagues and I have been working on the Predictable Data Centers project, where the goal is to enable predictable application performance in multi-tenant data centers. These data centers can range in size, from small enterprise clusters to massive properties, such as the Bing and Azure data centers. And in these scenarios, predictable application performance is critical. For example, in the case of Bing, when a user search query arrives, it has to be responded to within 300 milliseconds. Similarly, in the case of Azure, users expect predictable performance and predictable costs. And the fact that they cannot achieve this today is actually a key hindrance to cloud adoption.
The thinking behind this is simple. At the moment, if you use a cloud service like Azure, when you upload a virtual machine, you buy a particular type of machine that you would like to use, a small machine or a medium machine or an extra large machine, and it has a particular set of computation and memory resources assigned to it that you know you're going to get. However, for the networking and for the storage, the throughput and the performance that you're expecting to get from that particular resource is not well defined. And it's actually very hard to make it well defined. The Predictable Data Center project is trying to solve this problem by going and looking at how we can make the network and the storage much more predictable, which means therefore we can offer guarantees about the performance that you'll get from that resource.
Let's imagine a user, say Mr. Smith, who runs a job in his enterprise environment in isolation, and say the job takes 4 hours to finish. Now, Mr. Smith hears about Azure and he takes his business to the cloud. He executes the same job on the same number of machines in an Azure data center. However, because resources in the cloud are shared, the completion time for the job can be inflated. And that's not it. Because users are charged based on how long they use cloud resources, Mr. Smith ends up with a bigger bill too. So the problem is unpredictable performance and unpredictable costs. With predictable data centers, we can solve this problem. Mr. Smith can ask for the specific set of resources that ensure that his job finishes in 4 hours. Actually, with PDC, we can go one step further. The cloud provider can now offer service-level agreements on both performance and costs, which means that users get predictable performance and predictable costs.